let's continue. I think the big question now is like, what's next for you? Where is this going?
Well, the thing is that I never saw social media going anywhere.
Yeah.
It used to be fun.
Yeah.
Like just for fun. It's still fun. It's always fun. But it used to be just for fun, and now it's kind of switching towards a different thing. It's switching towards actually trying to figure out how to make a living out of it, but not necessarily that, but actually how to travel out of it, you know. And then I think like the more you post and the more like your audience is going to grow. It's just about like being persuasive in a way, and then making sure to post regularly and everything. So where this is going, I don't know exactly where it's going, but I'm enjoying it as long as it lasts. Like I started being invited to press trips, and I was lucky because there was this one person that found me on Instagram, and she's an amazing girl. Well, she's not that old to be called a lady. And then she found me and she invited me to this press trip in Romania. It was like Experience Bucharest, to promote my own city that I haven't lived in for, mind you, 6 years at that time. And then she found me there and she was like, it would be amazing to have you here. But I didn't have 10,000 followers to go there, but she still invited me. And then I was lucky because then the moment you get into the community, you start meeting people and you start learning more. And then you start collaborating with other creators, and you meet them at like the press trip, and then we stayed in touch. And then it just turns out that me and this other Instagrammer, which is amazing, and she's from Spain, we had the same like layover in Milan after this after the Experience Bucharest. So I ended up taking pictures of her, and then she posted the pictures and referenced me, and then like followers started coming from there.
Cool.
And then you can apply to different press trips from different places. Like I apply now to.
And what is a press trip?
Well, a press trip is basically like either a business, but usually a tourism board. The tourism board is basically the tourism ministry has a board of people that are in charge of promoting the place. And they organize different events from time to time.
Dude, that's awesome.
And you apply, like if you have followers and if you have like a social media channels or a blog or whatever, you can apply.
Cool.
And then they might select you, they might not. So I went to Experience Bucharest, and I went to Experience Romania afterwards. Then I went to a press trip which was in Bulgaria, and now I applied for one to Tallinn in Estonia, and they accepted me. So like they usually don't cover the travel expenses there, so you have to pay your own tickets to get there. But they cover activities. They have a full schedule of things to show you around and whatever, and they cover the food most of the times and the accommodation. So it basically makes it really cheap to travel. But in exchange, you know, this is not a free thing. You're there to work. You're there to enjoy, but in the same time, in exchange for all the free stuff that they're giving you, you have to give them social media exposure. You have to make sure that you are posting, you have to make sure that you're taking pictures, that you create content. You're there to create content and to advertise that to your audience. And usually it's very, very hard to find those opportunities. But once you get into one, like what you have to do is to make sure that you get to be friends, like, you know, to make friends in the community. And the community is amazing because they start recommending you events that you could apply to. And that's how it kind of started. Now there was this competition for India. There's Kerala Blog Express, this area in India, which has a 10-day trip every year. And then basically people need to vote for you. And then I'm still waiting for the reply if I'm going to be part of the trip or not. But it's worth applying to as many as possible. I applied to the Tallinn one, not knowing if I'm going to get it or not. And they replied and said, we'd love to have you. And now we're trying to figure out when I can go. And some of them are different. Some of them have an actual schedule and full of activities and everything. So you're there for like 3, 4, 10 days, whatever, but you're doing all the activities. And some others are like, you know, free schedule. They just give you a place to sleep, like an apartment or a hotel room. And they're like, go create. Like, as long as you advertise our city, we good. I was in London, and then there was like this hostel that organizes their own kind of press trip. You know, they have one day full of activities, and they give you 1 night of free accommodation. No, 2 nights of free accommodation. You know, in order, like, if you promote their hostel.
So fun, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's not all the time.
No.
So if you're passionate by traveling, like in my case it's travel. It could be fashion, it could be whatever. But in my case it's travel. If you're passionate and you keep on traveling, then you'll gather an audience that is interested in travel. And therefore later on you could be invited to press trips for traveling. And now I'm going to, I went to the Stockholm Fashion Week. This is like a fun story because I moved to Stockholm and I had no friends anymore. Like I used to live in Stockholm a while back, and then I moved there, and all of a sudden everyone moved away, kinda, and I didn't really have many people. And I was looking for things to do and show on Instagram, you know, because I started from I started, you know, like in Lund, and I was looking for like to continue. And then I found out that in 10 days there was going to be the Stockholm Fashion Week. So I was like, wait up, I've already been to a press trip, I'm traveling wherever. What if I can solve a problem from this? So I came up with like a concept, you know, of a website about travel, and I was about that combines travel, lifestyle, and fashion. And then I kind of pitched it to them. I was like, I'm interested in doing this. And then I sat down with the list of all the designers in the Fashion Week, and then emailed every single one of them, you know? And then out of like, I don't know, 40 or whatever they were, 6 of them replied. And they were like, they invited me to their shows. So I had like my name with like a website that didn't exist at the moment, but I had like the name for the concept. And I was sitting like 3 seats away from the representatives of Vogue and 4 seats away from the Elle representatives, you know, very established magazines. So it's all about like having the initiative and trying to always kind of grind onto it. I wasn't expecting to be invited to any of the events, but somehow it happened, and then I got invited in the same time to a Panasonic event because they were like, oh yeah, you take photos, you're on Instagram, whatever, we'll give you a camera for the duration of the Fashion Week, so you can shoot on it as long as you reference us.
Right.
So they had this breakfast with all the biggest...
So you got a camera for the event?
Yeah, exactly. They gave me like this super professional kind of tiny camera for Instagrammers and everything that they just like launched, you know, and they were like, go use it. You write your name and whatever, and then you'll give it to us at the end. And then for me that was like kind of amazing. You know, and I was in a room.
That's fun, man. That's really fun.
I was in a room with all the biggest like social media stars in Sweden that were there. Some of them like, I didn't know anyone. I was like strangers, like scared, whatever, sitting down. And then people, I was like, let's follow each other on Instagram. At the table, you know, like most of them knew each other, if not everyone. And then I was just there, like I don't know anyone. But then, like I'm like the girl next to me had like 115,000 followers, and the person, you know. And then you start kind of like meeting people. And then out of nowhere, like now is going to be the autumn/winter edition of the Fashion Week in Stockholm on the 22nd and the 23rd. And then 2 of the brands that invited me to the first Fashion Week actually came back like out of nowhere, and they invited me to this one. I didn't know this one was happening. No. And then they sent me like an invitation. This is our show that day. This is the invitation. Cool. Like, come to our show. So it's like, it's just like about trying.
So
you get
would you see yourself moving over to like fashion stuff? Are you like, hey, I like this. Now I'm going to be doing like travel and high fashion and...
But the thing is that I don't think that I would characterize myself. I cover events on social media on my account on Instagram. I do travel tours, but whenever there was Fashion Week, when there was last time, all I did was like my stories were about Fashion Week, showing the shows and the preparation and the everything. So that kind of still fits into the events kind of thing. It's still the niche of things that are happening there. I don't think that I will be moving to fashion anytime soon, but I love photographing like people, and then working with models and everything, and then working with...
And is that something, so working with people, working with models, is that something you want to bring more to your line of work? That you want to work more with people and collaboration.
I want to collaborate more with people. I don't know if I don't know, and I don't think that my Instagram feed is going to change. Or like my Facebook feed, Instagram feed. I don't think it's going to change towards fashion necessarily.
No, right.
But I want to take those pictures for people that will use them for their accounts. You know, and then on my accounts I have some pictures of people, but they're in the context of traveling. Like, oh, this is how something looks like, you know, like, because a lot of like the travel content creators, they as well do some type of fashion. So for example, I met this amazing girl, and then she has a very, very well-established blog and everything, and I met her in Stockholm. She lives in Stockholm, and then we ended up going to the second edition of Experience Bucharest together. And then she asked me to take pictures of her while I was in town, so I was like, why not? So I ended up taking this picture, which combines one of the most it's one of the most Instagrammable streets in Stockholm.
Look at that.
Sorry, in Bucharest. It's one of the most Instagrammable streets in Bucharest, but in the same time I'm taking a picture of her there that she can use,
very cool.
And then I can use, you know, or this one. This is like from the Milano press strip, or like, you know, the layover that I was talking about earlier.
Dude, that's so nice, man.
So that's still travel, but it involves like a model work as well. So I think that like I don't believe necessarily in limitations in a way. You know, because you're still showing the people themselves. Or this one, see, it's like the main parliament building, like the parliament building in Bucharest, but you know, like the model is in the foreground, but in the same time you kind of show what an amazing view is behind. You know, so I think like a lot of people get scared about like diversifying. But I think like as long as you know exactly what you kind of want to do, then you can stick to it and adapt it. You know, I'm not adapting like my stories to fashion because I'm going to Fashion Week, or because I'm going to a hockey event or whatever. It's like I still cover events and Instagram story tours. It's just that day I'm showing something different. You know, I'm showing like this is Fashion Week. This is like the hockey event. This is like the Malmö Festival. You know, I'm not a festival photographer. I'm not an event photographer. Whatever. I still cover events. And things that are relevant to do around you. You know, and then on my Instagram feed, I still cover travel because they're taken in different places and showing different things. But I'm not focusing 100% on like this is the outfit they're wearing. So it's not fashion anymore. So you take it out of context, you could see it two different ways. You could see like the Instagrammers that are showing their outfits and they're showing an amazing location. And then you could use it both ways. It could be fashion, it could be travel, it could be both. It could be both. So it's very important not to get limited by like, oh, I can't take pictures of people because it's not my landscape photography. But instead you should be asking yourself, I have this opportunity of going here or working with this person. But I do this. How do I combine them? So what I do instead is simply combine them. I make people walk up and down the streets and then put them against backgrounds and things that are relevant to the city. You know, I'm just like, this picture is taken with in this place. So automatically...
That's exciting, man. That's fun.
Automatically it becomes fashion and it becomes something else.
That's really cool. All right. Well, guys, I think this has been like a super in-depth conversation and interview.
It's been
a Boo-Boo's World.
A Boo-Boo's World. That's me on Instagram and Facebook.
And there's going to be, of course, links in the description to all of this. This has been extremely exciting, man, and I'm so excited to follow your journey now and your next steps and where you're going to go with this. I truly feel like you've just begun. Where you're going, what I've seen, I've only been following you since, what was it, November?
November. November.
I think it's extremely exciting what you're doing.
The thing is like to live on a note is don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try new things. And see what it works, because only assuming that something is not going to work, it doesn't help anyone. Just try it, see if it works, if it's going to be good for you, and if not. That's it. Like, but don't just say like, oh yeah, I don't want this opportunity because it doesn't fit my what I'm doing. because you never know by taking that, like if you're a travel photographer, blogger, whatever, content creator in general. I hate the term influencer. Whenever someone's like, are you an influencer? I'm not an influencer. I create content for the internet, so I'm a content creator in that term. So like by connecting to someone, for example, like I met Leif over here at the YouTube pop-up event in Stockholm. I'm not a YouTuber, I don't have a YouTube channel, but you remember the girl in the red dress that I just showed you earlier on? Well, I met her, she has a YouTube channel, so she invited me to go with her to the YouTube event. So that's how, like, that was a great opportunity of networking for me and meeting more people that I could possibly work with in the future, or like just randomly meet up somewhere when I'm in their city. It's but it wasn't my thing. I didn't do YouTube. But that didn't mean that I'm going to be like, no, I don't want to go to a YouTube event because I'm not a YouTuber. I'll go to whatever event where I can meet interesting people and socialize.
And such an event can lead to a day such as today.
Exactly. And it can lead to like creating content for your own thing. You know, in the same time.
Dude, I think this has been extremely interesting. Like, I've learned so much from you today. This is awesome.
Well,
it's really cool. I'm
really glad we met and we got to talk about all this.
Same here.
Awesome.
This has been cool. Man. Thank you very much for telling me your story. This has been great. And I'm looking forward to part 2 in the future, in the next little...
I'll just interrupt again. I'm just like, I don't think it's like as a part 2, because I don't have, you know, like when you're a very well-established person, give an example of Casey Neistat, give an example of like Yoon Olson or whatever, you know, they know exactly what they're doing, the type of vlogs and the type of content. But in my case, it's a continuous journey of trying new things and see what I like. You know, like experimenting. Just go out there, explore, be constantly curious, and always look to make friends, basically. Like, don't always think, like, one very important thing is, like, never look at the numbers. You know, never be like, oh yeah, like I want like n number of like followers or whatever. It's like, you know, I want to meet cool people. I want to go to great places. I want to have fun. That's like the motivation.
I think that's a really good and healthy way to like a standpoint to have.
That's the problem.
That should be your goal. That should be the idea. It's like, I'm doing this because I enjoy it and I want to have fun.
Because as long as you're passionate about what you're doing, eventually you'll find the way to do it. You know, the way that works. Otherwise, if you're only focused on numbers, then well, this is not really going to work out. Awesome.
So we have about an hour left of light. Let's finish our beers. And let's get out there and keep vlogging. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.
That was like a 1 hour conversation.